Your brain is broken and nobody told you. If you're a chronic procrastinator, it just doesn't work the same as everybody else. Shout out to Julie over on the Discord server for sending me this video about procrastination and ADHD and how they relate to one another. But I do think that this TED Talk video left out something really, really important that I want to add my 2 cents on. If you want to join the Discord community and talk with me throughout the week, of course, sign up at lyonmentalhealth.com for the emails, and the link to the Discord is at the end of every weekly email. I'd love to see you there. While you're there, hit subscribe down below. It helps share this video with more people so we can spread awareness about mental health and help those who need this advice the most find their way to help and healing. Let's jump in.
So in college, I had to write a lot of papers.
Me too, dude.
Now, when a normal student writes a paper, they might spread the work out a little like this. And I would want to do that, but then actually the paper would come along, and then I would kind of do this.
Usually, yes, yeah.
Now, I had a hypothesis that the brains of procrastinators were actually different than the brains of other people. And to test this, I found an MRI lab that actually let me scan both my brain and the brain of a proven non-procrastinator.
I wonder where they found this proven non-procrastinator. Is this just a friend of his? I did have a friend of mine in school, actually, who would start planning and set aside time each week to do his papers. I swear, to me, that was absolute insanity. I'm like, are you a psychopath? I don't know if I should go to sleep around you or turn my back on you.
And so I could compare them. So here's the brain of a non-procrastinator. Now,
love that.
Here's my brain.
It sure does feel that way. Sure does feel that way.
There is a difference. Both.
I don't like this metaphor though, because I feel like, when was this video posted? I gotta check this out. If someone knows, put it in the comments down below. But what I don't like about this is they often talk about the monkey brain, and it gives this insinuation that those who procrastinate aren't smart. There's 2 real situations that I see most common. One is that this person is gifted and they know they can wait until the last minute and still do a good job. So they're actually higher IQ than your average person. And then 2, it's usually a person with ADHD who has struggles with dopamine regulation. And this is something that I feel like this presentation leaves out. It's not instant gratification that it's trying to seek. It's actually a struggle with regulating dopamine in the brain, which is what rewards us for doing good work. And so it's this pursuit of that dopamine chemical that is a struggle for those with ADHD. They're actually even thinking about changing the name from ADHD to dopamine regulation disorder. I don't know if that's actually a serious consideration, but there is some real talk in the community about how that may be a more appropriate name for ADHD. And that may be really surprising to you.
Both brains have a rational decision maker in them, but the procrastinator's brain also has an instant gratification monkey. Now, what does this mean for the procrastinator? Well, it means everything's fine until this happens. So the rational decision maker will make the rational decision to do something productive, but the monkey doesn't like that plan. So he actually takes the wheel and he says, actually, let's read the entire Wikipedia page of the Nancy Kerrigan-Tanya Harding scandal, because I just remembered that happened.
Oh, no. It physically hurts. To actually get on top of a task and to complete it one piece at a time, physically hurts. There's no gratification or satisfaction in that. And so it's just a miserable experience. It's weird to me to think that maybe not everybody experiences doing things in that way. If you're a person who actually can get things done in a chronological order and on time with proper time management, please let me know what that's like. Because if I was to do things sequentially, the only way I can do that is by bullying myself. The only way that I can do that and get things done in a normal chronological time fashion is by being mean to myself, being do you want to be an idiot? Do you want to fail? Do you want to be a washed up nobody? Then you better get on top of this. Because we're going to get to the reason why here in just a second. He actually talks about it.
The instant gratification monkey does not seem like a guy you want behind the wheel. He lives entirely in the present moment. He has no memory of the past, no knowledge of the future, and he only cares about 2 things: easy and fun.
This is where I'll disagree with him a little bit. For me, ADHD and procrastination are kind of a superpower, because when I'm talking with a person and having a conversation in therapy, I am certainly not thinking about what's going to happen next. I'm not thinking about what just happened. I am so present in the moment. And so in certain situations, that can be a superpower. It really, really can. I'm very much focused and locked in and not distracted when I'm hyper focusing on the person that's in front of me, because usually social interaction will kind of override that system because I can feel the intensity of the emotion with the person that I'm talking to in a therapy session. And so that keeps me hyper focused and engaged. And kind of overrides the instant gratification monkey, which, by the way, I have a huge issue and contention with because I don't think it's searching for instant gratification. It's just the normal looking for dopamine, which everybody does. However, because that regulation of dopamine is kind of broken in somebody with ADHD, it's going to search for it in different ways. And so that dopamine hit needs to be more immediate because it's dysfunctional, it's dysregulated.
Now, sometimes it makes sense to be doing things that are easy and fun, but other times it makes much more sense to be doing things that are harder and less pleasant for the sake of the big picture.
Like grad school.
And that's when we have a conflict.
Of course.
Turns out that the procrastinator has a guardian angel. Someone.
I told you we'd get to it. I told you we'd get to it. This is the way that people with ADHD and procrastinators overcome their struggles with procrastination. It's panic, fear, and chaos.
Called the panic monster.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the panic monster is dormant most of the time, but he suddenly wakes
It depends. I don't know. My panic monster feels pretty present pretty much all the time.
up. Anytime a deadline gets too close or there's danger of public embarrassment, a career disaster, or some other
Public embarrassment, career disaster. Yep.
scary consequence. But there's a second kind of procrastination that
So what I find myself doing, what I find other people doing, is setting myself up for failure and putting myself in a position of chaos to where if I don't perform the tasks that I know I need to perform, very grave and dastardly consequences will happen. I just made an article about this, or a post about this in my podcast, about the reason why I ride a motorcycle, because it is so intense. You have to stay so focused because the consequences are so high. And so for me, it's actually very calming. When things are calm and like set and normal, man, it like physically hurts. It's very uncomfortable because I start to get panicky and a little bit afraid about like what's going to happen next. Am I doing the right thing? You know, should I be doing something else more productive? Like, is things okay? Because my panic monster is so present all the time. Now that can be a problem and something definitely to work on in your mental health, but it's one way to kind of short circuit the dopamine regulation problem. Maybe perhaps a better way is to go talk with your doctor about some medication.
happens in situations when there is no deadline. So if you want to have a career where you want to be a self-starter, something in the arts, something entrepreneurial, there's no deadlines on those things at first because nothing's happening at first, not until you've gone out and done the hard work to get some momentum, to get things going. There's also all kinds of important things outside of your career that don't involve any deadlines, like seeing your family or exercising and taking care of your health, working on your relationship or getting out of a relationship that isn't working. Now, if procrastinator's only mechanism of doing these hard things is the panic monster, that's a problem because in all of these non-deadline situations, the panic monster doesn't show up. And it's this long-term kind of procrastination that's much less visible and much less talked about than the funnier short-term deadline-based kind.
Damn, he's getting to some real good stuff. Like this is hard to talk about, and he's doing a great job of it, to be honest. Like, that's the big one. It's easy to see like when somebody's not getting good grades in school or somebody's not like performing well or accomplishing tasks at work, but there are some long-term effects like health stuff, like relationship stuff, especially. You know, you get into these situations where you're constantly being taken advantage of because you know that you should set better boundaries and you know that you should work on yourself and be more confident in who you are, but that would mean that you have to be diligent, deliberate, and consistent with the work that you're doing. And, well, where's the panic monster in that? You're like, I'll put it off one more day. And that one more day happens forever.
And it can be the source of a huge amount of long-term unhappiness and regrets. I had a little bit of an epiphany. I don't think non-procrastinators exist. That's right. I think all of you are procrastinators.
Okay. I don't know
where
he's
you might
going
not
with
all
this.
be a mess, like some of us. And some of you may have a healthy relationship with deadlines. But remember, the monkey's sneakiest trick is when the deadlines aren't there. And we need to think about what we're really procrastinating on, because everyone is procrastinating on something in life.
I've got a little bit of a contention though here, like for just a second. You know, I feel remiss if I didn't say an interjection of truth here about how much our society really forces us to be productive. Like this whole sort of presentation is centered around the idea that the goal is to be productive. I think the goal of life is to be happy, right? I think we should be pursuing happiness. I mean, even, you know, ideally, right? The nation was founded on the pursuit of happiness, right? You know, is that actually what we're doing? Probably not, but it's fine. But like in our philosophy, like in our best, you know, our waxing spiritual and metaphysical about what is the purpose of human life, it's about pursuing happiness, ideally. And so I do have to interject that a little bit here. Like, should all of this be focused on how to be more productive, or really like if you have the opportunity and there's no like other thing that you should be doing, it's not hurting anybody or yourself, like go do the quick, easy thing that makes you happy. Like let the monkey have some time to eat a banana, for God's sake.
That's a job for all of us. And it's a job that should probably start today. Well, maybe not today, but
Nice.
You know, sometime soon.
What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Are there some pieces that were left out? My big piece is we gotta put into perspective. Life is about being enjoyed, not about just trying to be productive, which a lot of our culture really pushes us and says productivity is the ultimate goal, which is not true. And we have to reorient that. And then two, it's not that you're an idiot or have a monkey brain. It's that dopamine regulation may be a problem for you, and that may be something to look into. Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye.